Ready. Play.
Our next match we're going to be previewing is between Tomás Martin Etcheverry and Hamad Medjedovic. Now, a little bit of different, I'd say, forms coming in here, with Etcheverry struggling this season, hasn't really shown his clay court prowess as he typically does, kind of around this time of the year. Didn't go deep in Houston, lost first round to Alex Kovacevic, and then in Monte Carlo, he did beat Mute, but lost to an informed Fokina. So that's that. And then in Barcelona, it was a pretty straightforward 4-4 against Demonar. So he's run into some, players who are in form, playing some of their better tennis this year. And then on the other side, we got Medjedovic, who had a great run in Barcelona, came through qualies, and unfortunately lost a tight battle to Casper Ruud, where he was up a break in both sets and, had chances to take advantage of that opportunity, but didn't. And then, lost in the qualification final in Monte Carlo to Ugo Carabelli. So, a natural clay corridor. But, man, just a lot of positives to take from that Casper Ruud match and I guess the week in Barcelona as a whole. But, there's definitely some points and obviously the bigger points that he would want back. In terms of these two previous matches, Etcheverry, he leads the head-to-head 1-0. They haven't played. It's been 2 years now, pretty much to the date. So what are we thinking here, Damien? Can Etcheverry stop a streak?
It's a very, very strong part of the draw, which I kind of hate because I thought Medjedovic might be, like a good dark horse for this event. He still might. I think it's like Musetti second round, and Lorenzo has lost the last two editions to Hanfman and to Seibovild in the opening matches. Obviously, in these conditions, it's going to be easier to rush him. So I think it's still a possibility. Etcheverry isn't an easy opener, but yeah, he's been a bit average this year. Like nobody's talking about him right now. He's a butler. He's never gonna just shy away from a good dogfight. But he just hasn't been winning that much. Hasn't been getting all these like semifinals and finals, even on clay courts that he was getting us used to. And Medjedovic, yeah, fast clay has always been probably his best conditions. I'd say the Gstaad semifinal run, the Mauthausen title, a few other big appearances. Ludenscheid, I think, also counts as like a slightly faster clay court. I think Medjedovic with his type of game, like he's pretty good on all these like slow/fast, surfaces where basically there's something that is slow as in clay, and here you have something that is fast as well with the altitude. And the guy just isn't that quick with his feet, and he needs that time to, let's say, get into the groove and have that opportunity to power through the shot. And if he can, then obviously the thunderous power he has is pretty much almost unmatched. And yeah, if he played a little bit more clinical, he could have beaten Rudy last week for sure. He's already gotten a lot of good wins this year. Rune, Tsitsipas, of course, the famous one after the split. So I do think he's definitely like a contender to go and run here. Is it though obvious that he's going to beat Etcheverry? Well, he needs to step it up still. Like he still needs to play a good quality match. Last year we were kind of like desperate for Hamad Medjedovic after these first 4 months when he had the illness, and like we were just desperate to look for an event where he rebuilds himself. And Madrid seemed like a possibility, and then another one, and another one, and another one, and it didn't really happen until the last week of the season. But it seems like now he has really like taken that leap. Should be just rising the rankings for now. And yeah, seems to me like he's definitely among the strongest unseeded players in the competition.
Totally. I mean, look, I want to look forward, but we'll also bring it back to this match. I think you mentioned an important word, and it's clinical. And how can Medjedovic take his opportunity? For looking at this matchup, like for Etcheverry, it's going to be a very baseline heavy match. Etcheverry doesn't like to play super aggressive, tries to maybe pick his moments, work his way through the point, and obviously like searching for confidence and form. But you have to kind of look at that Ruud match and just think about how he overpowered Medjedovic this was from the baseline, and how scared of the forehand Ruud was. And I think Etcheverry is also I think he's a very smart player. You know, he tries to play as tactical as he can. So it'll be interesting to kind of see how they try and, you know, pick each other apart, and see how Etcheverry kind of approaches this match, trying to stay away from the Medjedovic weapons. But it's just difficult, as you mentioned, a mix of slow with the clay and the altitude helping out. I mean, even the serve, you know, Medjedovic has such a big serve, and the +1 is very, very tactical. So, I mean, he's just, when he gets in those like fearless modes, you're like, all right, here we go. But, you know, even like 3 break points, not being able to convert those, it just come back to bite you. And that's what we saw. But yes, as you said, I mean, looking ahead, as I've already done so in our Madrid draw preview, I think this is, you know, a great opportunity for him to take advantage of the situation. And, you know, you got some one-handed backhands there that you can really rush. And, you know, I think the clay, I think this is like a perfect place for him to thrive. So I'm right there with you in terms of, you know, having an opportunity to do really well in these types of conditions.
Yeah, Musetti, Tsitsipas, players he can definitely touch. I mean, he's already had a great win against Steph. Musetti, as I said, not a great record in Madrid recently. Looks good, but you have to take that first step now. I mean,
Exactly.
even Etcheverry, it's not that obvious, of course, just because Tomás is, you know, such a natural clay grinder, clay specialist.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.